Ever since college athletes were allowed to make money off their name, image, and likeness, we have seen players across multiple sports sign massive brand deals for life-changing money. In this video, I want to look back at 5 players that would have made a killing had NIL been around during their playing careers. There's a lot of players I thought about, but decided not to put on this list, so if you want to see a part 2, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Also, let me know who you think would have had a lot of success with NIL had it been around their playing career in the comments section below. I may be completely off base with this claim, but in my opinion, the battle between Donald De La Haye, aka Destroying, and the NCAA over him making money off of YouTube really sparked a deeper conversation about whether athletes should be allowed to make money based off their name, image, and likeness. That is why he is the first person I want to talk about on this list. Destroying was a kicker at UCF, and he created a YouTube channel back in 2015. He enrolled at UCF on an athletic scholarship back in 2015 as well, and played in all 13 games as a kickoff specialist in 2016. Throughout this time period, he built a following of over 700,000 subscribers and had multiple videos break over the million view mark. There were no issues surrounding his channel until the NCAA stepped in back in 2017. UCF took De La Haye's scholarship away because of how he made his money on YouTube. The school cited NCAA rules that would make him ineligible. According to SB Nation, a student athlete may establish his or her own business provided the student athlete's name, photograph, appearance, or athletic reputation are not used to promote the business. Although not all his videos featured UCF or his athletic career, some did. Alex Kirshner writes, the NCAA says it told De La Haye in a waiver that he could keep running ads on the videos that didn't draw on football stuff. Then he could still play for UCF. But the NCAA, UCF, acting on the NCAA rules, also required that for De La Haye to keep his scholarship and eligibility, he'd have to pull ads off his videos that weren't sports related too, as long as they remained on his Destroying channel. He declined and lost his scholarship and eligibility to play. Destroying would sue a handful of UCF top brass because he felt UCF should be treated as an arm of the government because it was a public university, and felt his First and 14th Amendments were violated, with his lawyers claiming policies, practices, or customs at UCF, as implementing the NCAA rules, are overly broad, not narrowly tailored to serve compelling government interests, and do not leave open ample alternative channels of communication. He would end up settling outside of court, but it brought the vague kind of bullshit NCAA rules into question on where the line should be drawn for athletes to the general public. Today, Donald has over 4.19 million subscribers on YouTube and has accumulated over 717 million views. If players were allowed to make money off NIL while he was playing, he would have crushed it. Although he was a kicker, he had an idea to build his own brand, which before the case even occurred, had accumulated over 700,000 subscribers. He knew how to market himself and probably could have had more endorsement opportunities back then. The next person I want to talk about is Reggie Bush. According to an NCAA investigation, Bush and his family accepted impermissible benefits, which included cash, travel expenses, and a rent-free San Diego area home. Due to the investigation findings, Bush was forced to give up his Heisman Trophy, and he was basically erased from the NCAA record books. USC was also forced to vacate the 2004 national title, relinquish 30 scholarships, and permanently disassociate from Bush. That disassociation ban was lifted in June of 2020, and after the NCAA started allowing athletes to make money off their name, image, and likeness, Bush called for his records to be reinstated and for the return of his Heisman Trophy. The NCAA responded, although college athletes can now receive benefits for their name, image, and likeness through activities like endorsements and appearances, the NCAA rules still do not permit pay-for-play type of arrangements. The NCAA infraction process exists to promote fairness in college sports. The rule that governs fair to play are voted on, agreed to, and expected to be upheld by all NCAA member schools. Bush's 2005 season records remain vacated by the NCAA, and as a result, under the rules set forth by the Heisman Trust and stayed on the Heisman ballot, he is not eligible to be awarded the 2005 Heisman Memorial Trophy. This response came after the Heisman Trust opened the door for the trophy to be returned to Bush. The NCAA erasing Bush's career is stupid because he did not cheat the game. That being said, Bush was one of the most electric college football players of all time, with his highlight tapes being some of the most watched college videos on YouTube. He is also impressed as a personality on Fox. Being located in Los Angeles and being viewed as one of the most famous athletes of his time, you would have to imagine he would have made a killing in college if he was allowed to make money off his name, image, and likeness during that time period. Lamar Jackson is probably the least controversial athlete on this list today, but was a viral sensation before he even got to Louisville. You know the video I am talking about. Jackson went under-recruited coming out of high school, with some teams wanting him to play on the defensive side of the ball. Jackson was an amazing athlete in college, and everyone knew who he was during his Heisman run. He probably would have had company after company reaching out because of his market value. Andy Staples from The Athletic writes, "It's unclear whether his mother, who still handles many of his business dealings, would have been on board with a lot of the side work, but there absolutely would have been offers because Jackson was one of the rare players who could absolutely take your breath away on the field." Between what he was doing on the field, pushing Clemson to the brink, combined with the fact he did not stir up any controversies in college, he would have been a brand-friendly athlete. Baker Mayfield's college career was marred with multiple controversies of off-the-field issues, yet everyone knew who he was. When he was in college, and even in the pros today, you either loved him or you hated him. I don't think I've ever met someone that was indifferent about him. As Andy Staples puts it, perhaps part of the backlash against Mayfield in the pros is the fact that his commercials feel ubiquitous. But one reason for that is Mayfield is legitimately hilarious in those ads, so he keeps getting hired to make them. So picture him doing ads while dicing up defenses at Oklahoma instead of while struggling through games playing hurt in Cleveland. He seems to have the comedic timing and the personality to be a star in front of the camera. Along with that, toss in the fact he was a two-time walk-on and a Heisman Trophy winner, I don't think his phone would have stopped ringing with brands reaching out. Shoot, you could picture a flag company reaching out after he planted the Oklahoma flag on Ohio State's field. He was such an important figure at Oklahoma that he is now getting a statue in Norman following the spring game on April 23rd. Johnny Manziel is a cult figure when it comes to the college football world, and I cannot even begin to imagine how much money he would have made if NIL was in place when he played at Texas A&M. From winning the Heisman as a freshman to his signature money celebration, he would have had brands reaching out left and right. He exploded into mainstream media after leading Texas A&M to an upset win over Alabama, and after that game, everyone knew who he was. Everyone wants to talk about the crazy deals Caleb Williams and Bryce Young are signing. Johnny Manziel, whose nickname was literally Johnny Football, would have looked at both those guys and said, "Hold my beer." There would have been billboards all around College Station, probably some big sporting company endorsement deals, and every company would have been drooling over the idea of having Johnny Football linked to their brand during that time period. Johnny told Mackenzie Salomon from USA Today that he probably would have made more money in NIL than he made his first 2 years in the NFL. He probably does not leave college early, but would have continued to raise his profile. Shoot, maybe he even has a better professional career had he not left college so early. Johnny Football was the biggest college football superstar at the time, and it would have been fun to see what he could have achieved under NIL. But who did I miss? What other players would have crushed if NIL existed during their playing career? Let me know in the comment section below. I had a list of about 20 players going into this video, so if you want to see more videos like this, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, remember to embrace the grind.